So
Okay,
Come
so
in
it
the
moves into
come
the light.
into the light. So
Feel the light.
there we go. So what's your role at Kugali?
So I'm the managing director. I just, it's hard to say what I do because it's easier for me to tell you what I don't do than what I do. But I essentially just sort of look at what everyone is doing and make sure that nothing is getting in their way and everyone is happy and they can create and draw to the best of their abilities. But beyond that, I also write as well. So I contributed to the Raki edition of the anthology as well. My comic is called Iku, and I'll be contributing to an upcoming edition in February as well.
So why don't you talk us through your comic and the rest of this fabulous magazine?
Sure.
Since we're, hold it up so we can see it. You can see the cover. And this is Kugali. Tell us a bit about Kugali, what Kugali is.
So Kugali is a collective of African writers and artists that use comics, animation to showcase the best of African storytelling and art. And this is the Raki edition of our comic anthology. It's mainly designed for more mature readers because it's got a lot of dark and gritty content, although when I was 13 I used to read things like this. So the first comic is called Oro, which is set in modern day Nigeria. Essentially people start coming back from the dead and they kidnap a group of children. So the villagers summon their guardian, this fellow over here, his name is Oro, to track down whoever's responsible, bring them to justice, and hunt down some zombies. And these are just a few pages from the comic to give you a style of the art. As you can see, it's very dark, gritty, and gory, which really works well with the storytelling. Oh, thank you.
And it's like, it looks like it's more than one issue for him. Was Oro somewhere else first, or?
So Oro was originally published by Mad Comics based in Nigeria, but we signed a deal with them to engage in a joint venture that allows us to distribute Oro essentially worldwide because we have a bit more of an opportunity, or we have wider reach. So it's sort of a win-win for both parties. Yeah.
Okay, Mad Comics.
Yes.
Nothing to do with J.D. Martin.
No.
Okay.
And also at the end of each story, you actually get a little interview with the creator, or one of the creators, behind each story as well, which seems to be a fan favorite. Everyone loves to dig into the creative process of the work. The next one, which is the fan favorite of the collection, is Kai and Abini, which is a sci-fi comic, but all of the weapons, tech, and gadgets inspired by African art and design. And it's about two siblings who lost their family to a tyrannical empire, and so they're essentially on a quest for revenge, working as mercenaries in order to stockpile enough weapons to eventually strike back. And all of the illustration is very, very unique. It's sort of a combination of Mike Mignola, the illustrator of Hellboy, infused with traditional African art to create something totally new.
Wow.
And the artist is from Senegal, or he's French-Senegalese. His name is Juni Ba. And he's an extremely talented young man.
Yes, indeed. Is he in Senegal now? Is he in?
No. He's actually living in France at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
And last but of course not least, we have this is Juni, by the way. We have Iku, which is a dark fantasy comic set in a fictional 13th century West African kingdom about a cursed warrior followed around by evil spirits, driving him to the brink of madness. So one day he meets a witch doctor who offers to cure him of his ailment, and in return he must help the witch doctor retrieve a magical artifact. And I'll probably stop there because anything more would be a spoiler.
Okay. And there's a writer called?
Ziki Nelson.
Yeah, so this is your comic.
Yes.
It's beautiful art. Oh, beautiful art.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. So, you do the CGI?
Yes, I do the CGI, yes.
And that's for what? Ads and
We're planning to add a layer of augmented reality to all our comic books. So instead of just reading the book, let's say it's a fight scene and all the characters pop out and you're actually in the scene. So even if it's wherever scene it is, you're into this world. Bring the world into our real world. CG world into our real world. That's
how long till we get that?
You're going to have a test on next week. Probably there's going to be a few tests out by then.
Yeah. So we got a link. You're going to go onto the reading group and put the links on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So when did you get that idea? How long have you been working?
Very long, but it's more like it's like building a house.
Yeah.
And building a house in a forest next to a waterfall. You have to get the foundation right. So long time has been trying to get the foundation right, but right now it's like it's the easy bit now. They're actually putting up the walls now. So it's been about a year, but that's building up the pipeline to make sure the whole pipeline is stable, because we don't want to just do one thing. We want to keep on doing it and want to make sure the pipe can handle traditional animation as well. So for example, if we make an animation at one point, we know the pipeline can handle it, it's not going to fall apart. Yeah,
Right.
so about 1 year-ish. 1 year-ish?
That's not long at all. Not for something as innovative as that. So a little bit about you, Hamid. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Uganda.
All right. Okay. Cool. I knew some animators in Kampala too.
Which studio?
They call themselves Unbound Media,
Amba Media.
and they dissolved as a business. They went and started doing other stuff.
And-
But there we go. It's they were telling me all sorts of great stuff, like you weren't allowed to use replica guns.
Oh.
So they had to do CGI guns. They had to CGI in the guns for the action scenes. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You've been back to Uganda.
Actually, I was there on holiday just almost a month ago now. I came back just a month ago. I was in there for about a whole month, yeah.
Oh, lucky you. Did you
Yeah.
just in Kampala? Did you get around the lakes or?
I went to a few. I went to Jinja, that's where you got the source of the Nile. I went all the way up to Mbale, to the village for a bit. So
Oh.
I went quite a few places, but mainly in Kampala. I was too busy eating to move.
Okay. We are doing 3D movement of that character there.
The mortar.
The mortar. So that's mortar being turned into a 3D
Yes.
for the enhanced reality comic?
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality.
Yes.
That is lovely. What's the piece of software you're working on?
I'm using Maya at the moment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So currently, I'm trying to make the arm rotation a bit more better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like more even. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
In order to do that, you've got to understand how an arm works to begin with, I think, don't you?
Yes, you do.
That's what they found out with virtual reality from the beginning, is how much they didn't understand about how we hear and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's just brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
And a little bit for the folks about the business Kugali. Then you started out as smaller issues, yes?
Yeah, we started doing. In fact, I have the original comics that we used to publish.
So these are smaller.
Yeah, so these are about 60 pages each.
Uh-huh.
And the idea was to try and see if we could put them out monthly. So you see this one came out in October, this one came out in November, but by the second one we realized we bit off far more than we could chew. So, and at the time we were also bootstrapping the venture ourselves. So we over-leveraged our time and our finances and quickly realized that there was no way we'd be able to sustain a monthly anthology by ourselves, which is why we decided to turn to Kickstarter. That's where we actually were able to raise the funds to print and produce the actual Kugali anthology. And also, when we're printing or when we're doing the old magazines, people would say that the stories were too short. So we decided, okay, well, instead of a monthly magazine, why don't we try and do a quarterly anthology instead? So that way you get a longer story, and it gives us a little bit more breathing room to do production and creation as well. Thank you.
Thank you.